Hi there. This is Tim. I'd like to welcome you back to this was once called the Almost Lost to Time podcast, but I've kind of done some inner thought and decided that we need to broaden this up. So this is no longer the Lost in Time podcast. It's kind of the same format, but I decided it's been a while since I've talked to you on this podcast. I think it was been August. Yeah, let me get my notes situated. I kind of came to the conclusion last time I did these when I just did it free flowing and it didn't turn out half bad. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and free flow it again. So instead of just being, like I say, the title just signified as just one little topic, I'm going to open it up, broaden it up. It's just me this week. We're not going to, it's a no Darren, but, there's, that's kind of the response I was expecting. You're just going to have to suffer through it. Just, come on. We're all adults here. Just go ahead and say, hey, you sit down over there. Come on, act, be a grown up. Good grief. Show me a little professional courtesy here. I'm trying to do the best I can, but, okay, we get it. Gosh. Yeah, I can feel the love on that one. Yeah, that's what we're going to kind of do on this one. I've decided to call this one-on-one with Tim. Basically, it's like I say, it's just going to be me free-flowing and just discussing a couple topics and maybe what's on my mind, what is, what the week has unfolded. I'm going to kind of use this as a filler because as you may or may not have noticed, we've decided to go short form on some of the other podcasts. It basically dawned on us that it's a marathon for us to get through these and also for you to listen to all this. There's only so much that you can handle before it's just like, oh, God, okay, get on with it. So we've cut the length of our run times down, and I decided, hey, in order to do that, we also kind of kicked up the production to kind of kick them out every Friday. So, hey, happy Friday. So this one's going to be, when Darren is unavailable, it's just going to be me. And, okay, no, sit down. We're not going to go through that again. Hey, yeah, sit. Okay, yeah, I think I got them all settled down. But this is the 21st of November. Happy November. How was your late summer, early fall? Did you do anything exciting? I myself went to the Oregon coast, spent a week with my lovely wife at Lincoln City. It's nice. We actually got there on a good week. The weather was cooperative. It was pretty sunny, a little bit of rain, not too much rain, but we had a good time. I will say, the second day we were there, I like to pull out the old camcorder and just videotape stuff and make little stupid videos. And on the second day, we found a nice beach and we were walking through the tide with our shoes off and pant legs rolled up. And one of my pant legs was rolling down as I bent over to straighten it and get it in the appropriate position it needed to be. The camcorder I had fell out of my jacket pocket and splooshed right into the salt water of the Pacific Ocean. I just was like, okay, so it's going to be like that. Of course, it's day 2. And, like I say, I like to videotape, nature and waters, or not water, but, the tide and the surf and all that. But, yep, that bastard did a full gainer right into the drink, as they say. And I really didn't feel too bad. I've had that camcorder for quite a few years, and that what I paid for it to compared to now, I guess. Oh, wait, let me rephrase that. What I paid for it then compared to now to replace it was not nearly going to be as expensive, but it was still the fact of, oh man, this is second day. Shit. Okay, now what? I guess I just got to take it all in and just live in the moment and get no sort of video documentation that I was there. Of course, then I thought, hey, why don't we just go to the local store and buy a big bag of rice? Because they say that, you drop a electronic device in water, just submerge it into a bag of dry rice, and that should at least, get most of the moisture out. But 3 days in a bag of rice, and that camera was DOA. Fortunately, all the videos that I did have were on a memory card, and the memory card was just fine. So again, no harm, no foul, but still at the time I was thinking, I should probably button up the pocket I have that camera in, but then the other side of my brain's like, nah, it's not going to fall out. And 2 seconds later, bloop, that thing's swimming. So, yeah. So let's have a moment of silence for that. Okay, anyway, so let's on with the show. So, like I say, it's the 21st of November. Next week is Thanksgiving. Anybody got some big plans for Thanksgiving? Anyone? We are actually going to do something new for Thanksgiving. We are going to go out to eat. For me, Thanksgiving is a nice day, but I kind of like to just use that as a down day. I don't like to really go anywhere, do anything, or see anybody. I don't like to cook as far as I'd like to cook. Let me rephrase that. I do enjoy cooking, but I don't like cooking on a large scale. I don't like having leftovers for days. And so the wife generally goes to her family's house, and I tag along. I will say I tag along, and then when we get done eating, then I just leave, or we leave. And this year I was just like, well, I really don't want to, because her family's kind of it's a drive, not a horrible drive, but a drive nonetheless. And I told her, well, if you want to go ahead and do that, then go ahead and do that. I'll just kind of hang around the house and just lounge around in my underwear and scratch things that need to be scratched and just have a jolly old relaxing day. And then she was in contact with her family, and they aren't really planning anything, so she decided to make some reservations for a Thanksgiving Day buffet. And I thought, hey, that sounds like a great idea, because then we can go enjoy gourmet food, eat to our heart's content, waddle back to our car, hopefully not fall asleep driving home, and then just call it a day. Because I, like many of you, maybe not all of you, but many of you, I do have the day off. So that's pretty neat, so. But yeah, and if you do go out and enjoy yourself, just be careful. Come on, just be careful. Don't do anything stupid. And if you're young, stay young. I don't know what the hell I'm just babbling here. I'm trying to fill up some time. I'm not going to fill up too much time. Like I say, I'm not going to go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Because 1, I don't really have that much shit to say, and 2, I can't really say it without sounding stupid after a while. And so we're just going to, like I say, this is no net. We're flying, we're free balling this. I have no notes. I have a couple of things I want to talk about, but other than that, I'm not doing any edits. So if I stumble or stutter or get frozen, hey, you get to live that along with I do. See, just like that. That's not coming out. That's gonna stay in there. That just demonstrates how. Yeah. See, now I can't even talk. So I think we're falling off the rails pretty quickly here, folks. So just bear with me and let me right the ship. But no, this is just this is to say, hey, if we do have a devoted weekly listener base, I made the declaration that we were going weekly on some of our other podcasts. I've kind of decided to group everything together. I mean, there'll be different topics, and we're still going to do the Arnold and Stallone stuff. You may have checked out one of our other short forms. We had a couple last week, or one last week. We'll have another one this week. Kind of I guess, give you a sneak preview of the upcoming Arnold and Stallone that we're working on. We're going to try to do those short form as well. I know a lot of those, actually almost all of them, are pretty long. We'll get into it a little more as we release the next one, but it just dawned on us that we're just going a little long, and we're going to tighten up the format. We're going to try to keep it neat and tidy, and just instead of doing the every scene by scene breakdown, it's going to be more of what stuck out to us, kind of what I had envisioned when we started doing this. The next episode is coming up. It won't be next Friday. I'm kind of shooting for the Friday after. That's what we're kind of looking at, the Friday after that. And if you're curious, it has been a while since we released one. It will be with the fantastic Arnold Schwarzenegger. See, brain freeze there. The Arnold Schwarzenegger classic Total Recall. And then on the Stallone side, we're going to look at Lockup. And so those are what we're going to talk about. If you've listened to them before and you're like, oh my God, these are just too long, I don't have that much time, don't fret. Like I say, we're going to try to just keep it nice and neat in the same parameters we're going to do everything else in. So, just be on the lookout for that. That's kind of, I guess, your sneak preview. I know it's been a while, and we're busy guys. What can I say? We got a lot of things going on, but yeah. So, but how was your week? Anything exciting going on? Yeah, not really. It's fall, almost mid-fall, actually, maybe closer to late fall. It's been gray and gloomy. Yeah, could put you in that mood. I noticed, for me personally, we just went through the daylight savings time change, and boy, am I getting tired of that shit. We can go ahead and stop that like now. That'd be great. Usually, I don't mind the fallback, but for some reason, this fallback for me, man, it might as well have been spring forward, because I've just been so I've just been so out of my element. It's never really affected me like that. So I don't know if maybe I'm just getting old, or I don't know. What do you think it is? How has daylight savings affected you? Go ahead and email me at arnoldorstallone@gmail.com and let's talk about it. Let's open up a forum here and let's discuss these things. But yeah. So we already talked about the Oregon coast. Here's another thing actually I wanted to bring up. I've recently been selected for a Nielsen family. For all you out there under the age of 30 are like, what the fuck's a Nielsen family? So basically, the Nielsen's is a company that collects information on TV programs you watch. For me, this week it was the radio programs, or just radio in general that I listen to. So what you do, if you've never been a Nielsen family, is they send you a letter with 2 crisp $1 bills. Yeah, I know. Hold on to those things. Those are non-circulated dollar bills, so you know. They ask you politely if you would like to participate, and if you don't, you can keep their $2, and then that's it. Or if you choose to participate, for me, this last time, they sent me a questionnaire, and so I filled it out. I'm like, yeah, why not? I got nothing to lose, and sent it back to them. And a couple months later, they sent me another letter saying that I've been selected to participate in radio ratings. So what I had to do was they were going to send me a diary, 7-day diary of each day of the week. And so my part of it is to write down the radio times, stations, and how long I listen to the radio, which is funny because I have not listened to the radio for I don't even know how long. It's been a long time since I've listened to the radio, but the promise on their end was if for every diary that is completed and mailed back to them, I get $10 per. Well, that's me and the wife, so there's $20. Now, I know $20 isn't nothing to sneeze at, but that's $20 I didn't have yesterday, and I didn't have to do jack squat for them, or for it, I should say. Not to mention the 2 that I got for the incentive. Here's $2. Would you like to participate? And then, but then I got the diaries the other day, and there was $2 more in each diary, so that's $4. So I'm looking at a $26 profit here for not doing jack squats. So I know, it's nothing to sneeze at, but hey, if you're gonna give me $24 and not do anything, I want to take it every single time. So, like I say, I got two diaries for the Nielsen ratings, and so basically what they do on their end is they collect the data, and then they sell that data to radio stations, and you may have heard TV shows. This is really almost out of date, like data gathering when you think about it, but back when there was no streaming, and because I'd done it for TV, which is the same thing, they sent me notebooks, or not notebooks, but diaries to write down everything that I watched on the channel and the time and the show name, and that's how they collect the ratings. And which, like I say, it's kind of a dying format for data collection, but like, hey, they're going to still give me money. I'm still going to participate. And then they, I'll mail back the diaries, and then I'll get two $10 bills, and we're going to be sitting pretty. So yeah, I can see a lot of you are just like, really? Is this what we're going to get on this podcast? Yes, this is what you're going to get on this podcast. You're going to get me. This is my way of reaching out to you, to getting to know you. You're going to get to know me, and we're going to spend some one-on-one time together. Yeah. See, it's just not. It's not just a title. It's a fancy way of playing with some words there. You're going to get some one-on-one time with Tim, and you could be like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want one-on-one time with you. I'll wait till next week. Darren will be back next week, so when he's back, then I'll come back. So, and I got to say, all I have to say to that is, hey, you be you. So, yeah. So we got Nielsen's, we got Thanksgiving. I also wanted to do on this podcast, like I say, kind of a little more, maybe story. See, if you've ever listened to anything we've done before, and you may have heard that I am a truck driver, and I see a lot of crazy things on the road. I'm not a long haul truck driver, which if I was, I'd probably see even more crazier things. I'm what you call a regional truck driver, where I am generally home every day, but I still see a lot of crazy stuff. And I decided to actually we're going to introduce a new segment here. I want to call it the Tim's Tales from the Road, where every time I do one of these, I'm going to just kind of, tell you about some crazy thing I've seen while I'm out working, trying to navigate the crazy world out there and deal with all those crazy drivers that where they have to go is 10 times more important than where I have to go. And by God, yes, you do your thing, but shit, man, watch out. So in this first installment of Tales from the Road with Tim, I wanted to talk because I've been driving this coming May, 2026 will be, oh God, no notes, so I don't know. I'm not fully prepared here. So let's see, it'll be 8, 12, okay, so it'll be 12, 13 years, about 13 years of professional driving. And one of the first the first jobs I had was more of a delivery for convenience stores in the area. I mean, we went to Central and Northern in the state of Washington, a lot of Central Washington runs. And I remember just still kind of being new. I mean, because there's nothing more intimidating than trying to navigate a 18-wheeler, a semi-truck, and trying to get into some little convenience store's parking lot, especially in the, let's say, rush hour, 5 o'clock hour. I mean, granted, it varied from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. So whenever we got there type of deal. But if you get there too late, then imagine trying to squeeze into a 7-Eleven parking lot with 7-8 cars going in and out and people getting their beers and heading home or whatever. This one was more, this didn't really actually happen in a convenience store parking lot. We were going from one store to the next. It was probably about 3 in the afternoon. And I remember this like it was yesterday. We were just driving down kind of a state highway and going to our next stop. And there was one of those state highways that has other intersecting roads. And I remember coming up on a stop. It's kind of, I guess, like we're going straight, and on the right, there's a turn lane where the road to the right ends, and you can go left or right. I don't know the exact definition of that or it's called, but let's just say a T intersection is how it looked. And as we draw closer, I see there's a car sitting there trying to turn left, and he's on our right. We're probably there's probably about 3-4 cars in front of us. It's just cars, and we're, a big old semi. And after about 2 cars pass, this guy decides that he's tired of waiting, and so he pulls out. Well, the problem with him pulling out is there was a car right in front of us, and that car T-boned the shit out of this car, and just, it was wild. I've seen accidents before, but the car that was hit, or the car doing the hitting, the car that hit the T-bone, we're doing 55. This guy was probably doing 60, and just smashed into this other car, just maybe doing 20. Just pulled right in front of him, and just boom! Dust and plastic and car materials and just everything up in the air. And my co-driver, fortunately he was driving, not that, we had nothing to do with it, but he was driving, and he decided to pull over and make sure everyone's okay. I guess that was our responsibility. Company mandated that we were supposed to pull over and assist in any way. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not qualified for that, first of all. And second of all, I'm not going to be, if I'm not part of the reason or involved with the accident, I'm not pulling over. But that's just me. I'm just a selfish bastard that way. So he pulls over, and we make sure that nobody's dead. Fortunately, nobody was dead, and so that was nice. But that car was fucked. Both those cars were fucked, and I just think I'll again remember that one because that was my first one, and that's not the last. Believe me, we have plenty more of these little stories of things that I've seen, but that was the first one. That's the one that was thinking, okay, so this is the stuff that you'll be seeing out here. Another thing I when I first started driving that I kind of never realized was how much blood is actually on the freeways. I remember driving a Yellowstone National Park, again, first year at my old job, the other job, and just from the amount of roadkill in Montana, it was quite a bit of blood all over the place. Like, well, deer and whatever small animals that were just getting run over, and just big old splotches of blood. And I was pretty impressed. Maybe, I don't know. I never realized the amount of blood that was spewed all over the freeways. Fortunately, it was animal blood, so no big deal. But yeah, so yeah, there's a little tidbit of things that made it come, and if I haven't lost you so far, well, hey, thanks for sticking it out for this far, or sticking out this long. We're not going to go too much longer. I'm going to try to keep these about 25 to 30 minutes, just because I'm so unprepared right now. As we go forward, there's going to be, other things I'm going to try to incorporate, try to bring in maybe a little bit of, just, I don't know. We'll cross those bridges when we get there. So one more thing I did want to bring up, I wanted to talk about, and this may be for the smallest demographic out there. I'm going to talk about an album. Yes, I said album. A CD that came out of a band that I've been listening to for 40 plus years, let's say. I mean, I've been listening to these guys since high school. And if you don't want to hear about my upcoming album review, then I'd like to say thanks for sticking with it so far. And, I'd like to catch you on the next one. But if you are curious about listening to this, I'm going to be talking about Testament, the band Testament. They released an album last month, in middle of October. I wanted to talk about this sooner, kind of, I guess maybe stick with the, kind of be within the zeitgeist so it didn't really get lost. But this isn't really one of your mainstream bands where they get of course, nowadays, a lot of bands really don't get a lot of, if you like them, you like them, but they don't really get overly exposure, or a whole lot of fanfare. I follow them all on Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I fucking hate Facebook. Maybe that's a discussion for another episode, but I follow them on Instagram, and so I kind of know when they're coming out. And I remember that between then and now is seeing the big old, coming soon, next summer or next month, the album release party, be here, just coming on this date, and, don't miss out. And those were fun times, but nowadays it's like you got to catch them on their social media, coming this, or whatever album's coming out on this date, and which there's pros and cons both ways. The pros, you kind of, because back then, if you didn't like read all the magazines and stuff, you didn't really know what was coming out until you went to the store and saw the big cardboard cutout or whatever. And I didn't have a lot of money, so I wasn't buying a ton of magazines, but I'd see it in the store. I always liked flipping through CDs. I liked buying the new, because music was always so important to me, because it gave me my identity as a teenager and even into my 20s and everything. And so I was a regular visitor at the local music store, and whenever I saw something new, I was always, oh, hell yeah, I want to buy this. And I guess to come back around there right now, since I've been listening to metal since 1986, 87, a lot of bands have kind of ebbed and flowed where I was really into them, and then they either say broke up, or somebody died, or multiple people died, or they changed their style, or whatever, or retired, I guess, is even another thing coming up. But a lot of these bands now are just like, ugh, God, I've been doing this for 40 years, so we're going to go and call it quits, which, again, that's cool. There's only so much, or so long, I should say, that you can play this kind of music and play it well. I mean, shoot, I saw Overkill, another band that I love, for the first time 2 years. I think maybe it was last year. Maybe it was last October or November. And they killed, but for me, I don't think is the better way to say. I don't think how old I am. I just live in the moment, and I enjoy the things I experience, and but nothing will turn a mirror onto you to make you feel old and sing bands that you've been listening to since high school, and they're also old, and the lead singer has to take gasps of oxygen in between each chorus, which, hey, he's out there doing it. Of course, he's going to need that help, but damn, nothing will shine that light on you like, yeah, you're getting old. So anyway, to kind of come back around again, geez, how many times we're going to go around the block before I get to the point? Testament had released a new album called Parabellum, and Testament is probably one of two, maybe three bands that whatever they put out, I will buy. Overkill is the other one. Whatever they put out, I will buy, because they are consistently awesome. They are pretty much, I mean, yeah, they kind of put out the same album. People, if you do extensive research or reviews, or listen to people on YouTube talk about, especially Overkill, the always gripe is, well, they're releasing the same album every single time. Okay, yeah, you get a little bit of there, but it still kicks ass. So I don't care what they say. I'm going to still buy it. And so, having said that, Testament have put out a new album called Parabellum. It's their 14th album. And I got to say, again, for their discography, if I could say that a little smoother next time, maybe I'll do some practicing. But yes, their discography is pretty solid. I love, when I first started listening to this band, a lot of people would be like, hey, are they Christian rock? And I was like, yeah, I can kind of see where you would think that with that name. They're not like satanic or anything, but they're hard. They're heavy. And it always made me laugh when they're like, are they Christian rock? It's like, no, they're not. I mean, you can buy the album Demonic. That's, if you... that might answer your question for you, but no. But yeah, so they put out man, I tell you what, this album is almost perfect. This album is so hard. This band has gone from thrash. They've done some death metal lyrics in kind of the early 2000s and mid 2000s. Then they kind of went back to the original thrash vocals. This album is a lot of, if you've listened to like again, Demonic, The Gathering has some death metal on it. Low was a really good album where they kind of experimented with the death metal vocal sounds. This one kind of goes back to that, but man, it shreds. Almost every single song's a banger on this one. There's one that's kind of, it's slow. I've been debating about how to discuss this song. It's called Meant to Be, and they've done what I guess you would call ballads. They've done many ballads before on many albums, and I've enjoyed all of them for what they were. This one seems to be the slowest one they've ever done, and it's not horrible. I have to skip it because it's just, I guess, the placement of it. Again, there's nothing wrong with doing a slow song like this, but this album is so, it starts off in your face. It just grabs you by the short hairs. You know, the first 3 songs are just like boom, 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 and then they get to the slow one, and it's like ugh, and then they just go right back into it, which it's great. You know, again, I said the majority of this album kicks ass, but that one song, I guess for me, kind of downgrades its overall. No, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say it downgrades its enjoyment because it really doesn't. I just skip it. I've listened to it a couple times. I gave it the open heart. Okay, we're gonna give it a shot, and I gave it a couple shots, and it's fine, but it just seems so out of place. There could be some meaning behind it. I don't know. I don't really look into that. I don't know if they had some sort of family tragedy or someone was going through something, or we just need to put. I don't know. Did they do it for the radio? Maybe. I doubt it. People don't listen to the radio. I mean, let's be honest. When was the last time you listened to the radio? I drive 1,500 miles every week. I never listen to the radio. Ever. So, but yeah, no. So this Testaments to 2025 album, Parabellum, fucking awesome. If you like thrash metal, I would highly recommend this band, because again, there's really this one's their 14th album, and they've done 14 albums that just, there's not really one where you're just kind of like, ugh, God, I'm not going to listen to this. But yeah, it's I recommend them. It's one of those bands whenever someone comes along, and there's a great line that Brian Posehn had done in one of his metal songs, where it's like, when you meet someone that listens to metal, it's like finding out you had a brother or sister you never knew about. And that's kind of how I felt meeting new metalheads, and we would talk bands, and I'd always bring up oh, do you listen to Testament? And they're like, no. Oh man, you got to check them out. And I mean, it's funny when there's a couple other bands that I would bring up, and one of them I remember, real quick story here. When I was going to college, I was kind of seeing this older lady that was into the same music I was, and she was like, I'm a diehard death metal fan. I love it, all metal. And I'm like, hey, right on. I like all metal too. And I go, here, listen to this. This is Exodus's 1998 album, Fabulous Disaster. Check this out. This is awesome. And she had never heard of Exodus. And I let her borrow. It was a cassette tape. Again, showing you how old I am. It was a cassette tape, and got it back from her a couple days later, and I was like, what do you think? Because Exodus was one of my favorite bands too, and she's like, it's just too fast. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Too fast. They're thrash metal. Of course they're going to be too fast. But I was like, I thought you liked... Yeah, okay, whatever. To each his own. I'm not going to shit on someone for what they like, but come on, too fast. Good God, maybe that's a sign you need to go to listen to fucking Barry Manilow or something. I don't know, but okay, yeah. So we're oh shoot, we got 35 minutes in, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you if you've made it this far. Awesome. Again, if you want to email me, maybe open up a discussion, or there's something you want me to talk about, or questions or whatever, you can always email me at arnoldorstallone@gmail.com, and I am going to try to do these more regularly so we don't go 3 months in between, because I miss you guys and I want to know what you're up to. So until next time, thanks for spending some one-on-one time